not here for glory. I'm here for the mountain. For answers.
Then you must face the beast that guards it.
Hello everybody and welcome to What Culture Gaming. I'm Ben from What Culture Gaming.
I'm Scott from What Culture Gaming.
Horizon Zero Dawn, Scott.
Hi.
One of the better PlayStation exclusives this
Possibly
year
the
so
best.
far. An amazing first outing into the open world genre from Guerrilla Games.
Guerrilla.
And they finally released their first expansion, or only expansion,
Yeah.
I suppose, really, is what it is. What's it called?
It's called The Frozen Wilds.
And it
Tasty
continues
Wilds.
Aloy's adventure. Is it
Yes.
set after the game?
It's set during, because the way that you... Do you remember Horizon? Do you remember this game?
I do remember this game.
I haven't played it since February, according to my save data.
Really?
Breath of the Wild sort of just came in and obliterated my whole life. But yeah. So yeah, it takes place during, because the way that Horizon ended was there's no like post final cutscene thing. Like it ends, and then if you want to play more, you just reload your save. So the way that this works is that you just talk to a random NPC on the map, and he just says like, oh hey, by the way, there's this tribe to the north called the Banuk. And they're sort of known for being this like spiritualistic bunch of dudes and ladies who want to try and commune with the machines. And obviously, so in that world, a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. That's ridiculous. You can't do that. And can you go and sort of investigate them? And they might need some help.
Okay. How long does it run you, roughly?
Well, they've done a really cool thing because it's kind of like a microcosmic version of Horizon. Like you've got your main thread, you've got tons of side missions, you've got loads of collectibles. Like the expansion itself is about a quarter of the standard map size, so it's pretty big.
It is a new part of the map that they introduced.
Yeah. It's bolted onto like the northeast of the the map. You sort of just keep
actual Newcastle, but
yeah, it's like it's the frozen north. It's very much Game of Thrones, but without the White Walkers.
Right.
And so yeah, you just go to the north. You know where that massive crashed Hades ship was, that you went to in the main story. You just go like up past that, and there's like a whole like other sort of chunk of land that's always been there, kind of thing.
Okay.
And yeah, so they do like the main missions. I blitzed through in about 4 to 5 hours.
That's pretty good, though.
It's good. Like it's solid. Like the main thing is you come across the Banuk. There's like this tribal leader called Aratak, and he's got this sister called Aurea, and turns out Aurea's gone missing. And like there's this whole thing where in the pursuit of communing with the machines and trying to like venture out and talk to them, a lot of them got wiped out. Because they're not as Bear Grylls as they would like to be,
right?
And so they're just like then they go into all this stuff of like, is it appropriate to try and talk to the machines? Should we be doing this? And Aratak's like, well, I want to protect my people, so like what the hell? And obviously Aloy's like, well, I can fight machines and stab them like
really
no one's
good,
business.
Really good at it.
Yeah, that's her thing. So she's like, well, I'll go up and I'll rescue Aurea, and things kind of go from there. So,
okay.
Yeah.
My burning question for you.
Go on.
Is the thing that blew me and so many others away.
Yes.
Don't cut before
I was going to say.
About Horizon Zero Dawn was just how incredible the story was. Like it sort of faltered a bit towards the end, but like that middle portion when you're trying to find out the secret of why the world is the way it is was so. It was like.
It's so unique.
Yeah, exactly. It was sort of like binge watching a TV show.
Yep.
It was to hell with the side quest. I finished each mission, then just sprinted all the way to the next place. Like I need to know what happens next. My major concern now, not so much in with this DLC because it does feel like without putting it down in any way, just an expansion.
No, it is.
For a sequel for them. How on earth are they going to recapture that magic?
Well. That is one of so one of the biggest positives of Horizon is its like unique blend of like tribalistic sort of spiritualism and like all these ideas like primitive man mixed with like the most futurist tech and drones and robots and mechs and all that kind of thing. Yeah. That is all in here, and you're still like the whole thing of like where is Aurea and where's she gone does go into like the underground, and like so it does go into like cauldrons and that whole thing of like the real metal world underneath everything else. But this doesn't really go anywhere in terms of like bolstering the additional fiction. You get some more stuff about Silence, or whatever he's called.
Right.
The dude who's like the guy that's in your ear the whole
weird
time.
Borg man.
Yes, the Borg man. You get a little bit more about him. Not too much though, just little pepperings of like who he was before he talked to you.
Right.
And you sort of get like some references to some of the AIs that are in the main game. But this isn't like a continuation. It's more of like a.
Okay.
But on
just
the other
big side quest.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing is it pretty much like shows you like a window into like how they could do additional stories because the whole idea, like the whole duality of like the old meets the new like is in itself so fascinating. Like you said, it was like binge watching a show.
Yeah.
Because you just want to see what happens next. And so the story in the Frozen Wilds like doesn't bolster the additional fiction, but is a nice little side story. It has some of the old and some of the new. It has some AIs. It has some tribal stuff in there. Primitive man worshipping these machines because they don't know any better. There's a great scene where like one of the doors unlocks and it just comes up. It just says something like user identified, and all the people are like, oh, the chosen one has spoken.
Oh, yeah.
And then Aloy's just like, oh, for God's sake, like, because she knows.
Yeah.
And so
we know at this point as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like if they're gonna do additional stories, they can kind of just like bolt them on like this. But it doesn't. Elizabeth Sobeck is mentioned in this, but it's not. Again, it's not really anything to do with the main story. It is very much a DLC. It's very much an additional story.
Okay.
Which leads me to my sort of overall thoughts on it, which is this is more Horizon.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's not essential. I don't necessarily think it's worth full price. I think you're probably better off waiting until it's a little bit cheaper.
Blood and Wine.
No, yeah, exactly. It's not a Blood and Wine. It's not Hearts of Stone. Witcher 3. It's not like an essential thing.
So it seems to be more of the same in terms of story, at least, or just sort of splintering off to one side.
Yeah, it's very much a DLC.
Yeah, but in terms of new stuff they've added, I know there's a load of new trophies in there, but
Yes.
what else is in there? Weapons, armor, and so on?
All the best things. Yeah, it's very. Yeah, I mean, you get additional outfits and weapons. There are some new creatures in here. There's like 5 in total, but you only really come across 3 in the story. It's like the Frost Claw, the Fire Claw, and the Scorcher.
Yeah.
But most of the new weapons are very projectile based. You get like a big energy gun and like a thing that like throws fire and ice.
Yeah.
And like that's very much what the new creatures are doing to you. Is like sort of like you want to keep on the move, and they sort of encourage like more ranged combat in a way that they didn't. Or like, I don't know, they sort of encourage dodging big radiuses of attacks in a way that a lot of the other creatures didn't really do, which is cool, just sort of spices things up a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing contends with like a Thunderjaw for me. I still think that's like the best, most badass thing they have.
Amazing thing, yeah.
And you also have this like infection called the Daemon or the Demon. It's spelled Daemon, like old school style.
Old school demons.
Yeah, one of those demons, or Daemon Waynes. And that thing is infecting everything. So all the basic creatures all have like Daemon varieties now, which means they make terrible comedies and no one laughs at them. But at the same time, you just have to
take that. What are you
take
gonna
that. 2003.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, and
So it's a bit like the Pokemon with the Alolan versions of.
yeah, there's
the Pokemon, right?
There's a hot take, and so yeah, pretty much it's more Horizon. The way that you love it, the way that the combat worked back in February still works right now. It's the whole thing of like siphoning off different parts of the enemies, picking up parts of their cannons and shooting them with them.
Yeah.
Lots of slow motion firing, lots of taking your time, lots of knee sliding,
Yeah.
and whatever. It's more Horizon.
Badassery.
But you know, it's one of the best games of the year, and more of it is fine. I had a damn good time with it. But there's a new skill tree called Traveler. With a new load of perks that you can get. Sadly, most of them are just like, here's the ability to make scrap from some of your mods. Here's the ability to get better prices at the vendor.
Right.
Not stuff that you're gonna want but gonna want.
Well, especially if
Gonna
you're
want.
Especially if you're
Yeah.
That's very good English.
Thank you.
Especially if you're playing it after you've already finished the game.
Yes.
Why on earth are you going to want to come back to play the DLC to then literally just finish? Play the last mission again if you want.
Yeah, I mean, one of the weapons you have fires your currency. It fires metal shards.
Oh wow.
So if you that was already in the base game, but if you use this perk to make more ammo, then you could use that to bring more stuff down.
Wow.
But on that Traveler list of skill tree things, you can unlock the ability to loot from your mount, which is something that any horse-based game has needed.
Right.
And like the new Assassin's Creed has that, and so now Horizon does too.
Okay.
She just leans down, grabs whatever she wants, doesn't have to demount. Red Dead Redemption, could have done with that.
Right. Some satchels.
How they should make Red Dead too. And and so there's that, and you can also unlock a jumping attack from your mount, so you can run up to dudes and just leap off and stab them.
Okay.
Which is cool. It is the same leaping animation as the drop animation, but it's in there, and it's a new thing.
They put it in. They've connected the dots, and now you can do it.
There's some damn fine dots.
That all sounds fantastic.
Yes.
Apart from some of those perks sounding a bit wonky.
Yes.
In a similar vein, was there anything in there that annoyed you or was not very good?
The only bits that stand out is like there's a really naff bit at the very beginning where you're just sort of navigating this like maze-like ice cave, and it's just sort of like find the beacon. Now you need to find the next beacon and the next beacon. It just goes on for a bit too long, and they have that whole like protracted sort of like, well, you need to get here, but it's a little bit too far for you to jump, so you need to go all the way around to the thing.
So it's kind of padding it
do
out
that
a little bit.
A little bit. It's only in like 2 bits of the whole thing, but they stand out because it's the thing is the worlds that you're exploring are gorgeous, and you're in these big, crazy labyrinthine cauldrons of metal and sparks and machines. It's nice, and you can whack the photo mode on, and you have a nice bit sightsee and whatever. But you're still going all the way around to get to this thing, and that feels a little bit elongated.
Okay, that's a shame.
But I mean, in terms of the way it plays, it's more of the same. One of the best games of the year, which is totally fine. The only thing that lets it down a little bit is that I wish they'd sort of, I don't know, given us a little bit more of a story-based reason. The story is fundamentally not that memorable or worthwhile when you've got the deck stacked with like Silence and all the stuff that's in the main game. All these like, you know, conversations around faith and religion and humanity and belief and blah blah.
But that's not there.
It's not there.
It's a shame. It sounds like it's a good package, though.
Yes.
On the whole.
Yes.
If you were to assign it a score, what would you do?
I mean, yeah, it's the fundamentals are still Horizon. I would knock a star off for the sake of the narrative not being as incredible as the world they've designed. But I mean, sorry, not even a star. No, half a star. I will give it 4.5 stars out of 5.
Oh wow, okay.
Because I still think you're still getting.
It's still very good.
Yeah.
It's not quite as good as the main game.
Yeah, and like the only thing that like sort of leaves not even a sour taste, but it's just a bit. I wish that was a bit better. Is just the way the story goes. Right. But the amount of content that's here, all the side quests and the characters you can talk to, the main thread, like the new creatures, the new weapons, the outfits, like it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's you know it's enjoyable just by proxy of the fact that the way that it plays is incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a thoroughly good time. It took me sort of like 4 to 6-ish hours.
Fantastic. And then there's all the side stuff as well if you want to go and do that. So that's Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds. Frozen Wilds. I just keep wanting to put variations on the word frozen in there, which it isn't.
Mate, just let it go.
I can't even say it. Just
I'm sorry.
Derailed the entire.
Am I sorry? No, I'm not sorry.
No, not at all.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there we go. That's our review of the Horizon Zero Dawn: The Frozen Wilds. Let us know if you're excited for it. Do you still want to play more Horizon? Did you like the full game? Are you also concerned about how they might follow it up in a sequel, bearing in mind that the story was quite so good in the first game and might not be quite as good?
I know.
Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to just follow us on Twitter. Let's just
go
ahead and
want,
really. That. Whatever. Yeah. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I've been Ben from What Culture Gaming.
I've been Scott from What Culture Gaming.
And we'll see you soon.
Most people click away now, but look at all this other entertainment here. Is it spherical?
It's square.
It's a square.
Rectangular.
Rectangular. Look at those right angles. Over here, circles?
Yeah.
Circles. Look at the circles. I don't think they're going to be where I'm putting my hands.